Hey everybody, part one of Let's Talk Mental Health is behind us. Started this weekend, three churches, one topic. And I actually want to encourage you at some point to check out the other messages online. Grant English at Western Hills Church and then Nate Bruns at Countryside Christian. Both of those churches have websites. Both of them put their messages online that you can watch. So one of the things I love about this series is that there are three different churches with three different pastors talking about the same topic from the same text each week. And I think there's just something beneficial and helpful about hearing the different perspectives and different personalities on these issues. I think it'd be really helpful. So I want to encourage you to check that out at some point this week. And then one of the things I pointed you all to is the online quiz that you can take and see kind of where you land on the burnout scale. It'll actually tabulate your results and send you an email if you give them your email of a breakdown, kind of what it all means. I promise you, I am not getting a kickback from this whatsoever. It's free. It's there available to you. So I want to encourage you to check that out at some point. But we're talking about burnout in this first session. I shared a little bit about my own experience with it. I don't have a diagnosis. It's not like something that I have a doctor's note saying, no, Tim definitely dealt with burnout. It was just something that I started I read the book, I started listening to some other voices, had some conversations with people who had kind of been there and done that. And I thought, yeah, you know what? I think that's what I was dealing with. So we looked at a little bit of my experience, and then we looked at the story of Elijah in 1 Kings 19. Here's a guy who comes off like the highest high in his ministry career and suddenly finds himself in one of the lowest lows. And you kind of want to ask, how in the world does that happen? How does that take place? And you put yourself in his shoes and you wonder, okay, what would I be feeling in that moment? How would I approach that? But then you kind of open your eyes and you look around in today's culture and you see a whole bunch of people overwhelmed, overcommitted, and overworked, doing exactly what they thought they wanted to do with their life. And again, you ask, okay, how in the world does that happen? It's like all the work, all the hustle, all of the cramming of the schedules to pursue this goal. And then at some point we realize all the hustling, all the cramming, all the pursuing isn't all it's cracked up to be. You see this, like parents perpetually behind. You see like retired people stressed. You see high school students and college students just dealing with this anxiety. You see a lot of panic attacks, like the suicide rate in between 18 and 25-year-olds is unbelievable. But even then, you go to different jobs, entrepreneurs, mid-level managers, nurses, teachers, first responders, accountants, church leaders, and yes, even the medical doctors who diagnose burnout and stress are finding themselves overwhelmed, just trying to keep up. So that's the bad news. The good news is we don't have to live that way. You don't have to live that way. I don't have to live that way. We don't have to live that way forever. But it will require us to be honest with ourselves. It does require us to be honest about our schedules, and then willing to make some changes, willing to start asking ourselves, okay, what changes do I need to make to start living today in such a way that I can thrive tomorrow? That's kind of the bottom line for the message this week. That's the goal, is how do I live today in such a way that I can thrive tomorrow? Jesus said it this way: I have come to give you life and life abundant. And when you look around, you don't see a whole lot of people. You don't see a whole lot of good examples of what abundant life looks like. So that's the goal. That's what we're going after. But it involves us being willing to let Jesus do some transforming work in our minds and do some transforming work in our hearts as well. So that's what we're going after. That's what we're talking about in session one of Let's Talk.